What is going on, everyone? It's Ricky with TechButt Solutions, and welcome to our Sunday Stock Talk. Let me go ahead and turn off the music real quick. Super happy to have you guys here. If this is the first time that you guys are tuning in, really looking forward to kind of getting some feedback, and feel free to direct message me within our free TechButt Solutions Discord chat. So pretty much how we do things here is I go live. I break down stocks for you guys. I give you my 2 cents about the stocks that you guys choose. It's not just you sharing the ticker symbol, but you need to make sure that you do your own due diligence and that you plan out your entire trade before you share it with me. Right here within TechButt Solutions and with Learn Plan Profit, we want to empower you to be self-sufficient. So we want to make sure that you've done your own due diligence, right? So posting it in the ticker call out format before giving our 2 cents and you hearing me out about what I think about it. One of the rules that we have within our community and within our team is when it comes down to investing in any market, you should never trade or invest solely based off of someone's opinion, because at the end of the day, it's just that. So if you don't understand what it is that you are buying, if you're getting a good deal, if you could sell it for a profit, if you don't understand the risk involved, then it doesn't mean that maybe you can't do this. It just means maybe that you might need to dedicate a little bit more time to become more familiar with the market, to understand what a good deal is and what isn't. And the way that we're going to start this video out for our Sunday Stock Talk is, I don't know why I'm so bright right now. The light's making me look like a ghost. But one of the reasons and why we're so specific in making sure that you only invest in what you understand, it's because that simple idea of I have my iPhone, right? I have my iPhone right here. And if I were to ask you, it's an iPhone X, let's say it has a market value of $700. I don't actually know what they sell for, but let's say they resell for $700, right? If I were to offer you this phone, if you just meet me at the street, right? So you just, let's say I'm at Chipotle or I'm at Raising Cane's. And then I'm like, hey man, do you want to buy my iPhone for $10? He'd be like, heck yeah. It doesn't take someone to realize the value of that phone and that they can make a profit off of it. Like, yeah, I'd buy that for $10. You'd ask a couple questions. Does it work? Is it a clean IMEI, right? Is it not blacklisted? Does it have the iCloud lock? No, we're all good? Cool. I'll pay you $10. Cash money right now, right? You guys would all do it because you know that you can sell it for a profit. So when it comes down to the stock market, you want to be as confident in whatever it is that you are trading, in managing your risk, and understanding what criteria and what questions you want to ask yourself before making that investment decision. Which means that, just as familiar as you are with, why an iPhone is worth over $10, you need to become more familiar with, whatever stock it is that you're going to trade this week to be the best deal that you can find at that time. And if it doesn't meet any of your criteria, then maybe it's not the best investment decision that you can make, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and brighten this thing down real quick. I really don't understand why I'm so why there's so much light on me, but let's go ahead and get started. So I love Ricky's energy. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I really do. So if you guys haven't clicked that like button, we'd really appreciate that. If you guys have not joined our free Facebook group, that's gonna be that first link in the description. If you guys have not checked that out, again, first link in the description. It's our free Facebook group. We're the largest one out there for those that trade in the stock market. We have nearly 200, let's see if we hit 217,000 members yet. So now we have a couple people that just asked to join. So we have 216,901 member all over the world. Not just the United States, but all over the world. So if you simply want to, get your feet wet, become more familiar with what the stock market has to offer, this can be an option, right? A potential solution. So, feel free to click that first link, connect to our free Facebook group, and then once you get accepted, under the group chat link, it's a pinned post, group chat link, you can join our free Discord chat. The second link that you're going to find in the description is going to be for our free live trading session, or not free live trading session, I'm sorry, for our Learn Plan Profit team, which is the group that I work with on a closer basis. But that's maybe when you fully understand, that the stock market is something that you want to pursue and you would like to work with me on a closer basis. But that's something for later down the road, right? Let's go ahead and get this Sunday Stock Talk started. So I'm gonna close this out. There we go. So I knew I had this set up. Here we go. So again, all I ask you to do for this Sunday Stock Talk, right? All I ask you to do is whatever stock that you are going to share and ask me to break down, that you posted in the ticker call out format. perfect example of what the ticker call out format is, and you're going to see everyone is sharing it in that specific format as well. So every stock that I break down today, again, I'm going to post on this left-hand column, which is going to be the Sunday Stock Talk watch list. So feel free to refer back to this anytime that maybe if I speak a little bit too quickly or I continue moving forward, then you have this list to kind of go off of. Again, none of the stocks that we talk about today are in any way any stock suggestions, so I really hope that you guys understand that. So let's go ahead and get started. For all those that are not posting it in the ticker call out format, like Mr. Bob, I just want to remind you that you're going to have to post it if you want me to break it down. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with Marco. Marco is asking for me to break down BYND. So BYND, this one has been asked to be broken down before. And I've said it once. Is it this one? Beyond being incorporated. Let's see. Okay, it doesn't look like we have 180 days to kind of go off of. But looking at the 180-day chart, it's been showing signs of an uptrend. And one of the things that I personally don't like about this is that, if I'm not mistaken, BYND was something that was aggressively promoted through the infamous platform StockTwits. I'm not saying that it's not something that you should invest in. I'm just saying that there's usually a lot of hype and sometimes a lot of manipulation. And a very easy way in being able to identify that is when you see huge pushes in volume that drive the price up dramatically, right? Within a period or a very short period, especially when it really all happens during pre-market hours, when something pushes up anywhere from like 10, 20% and there's no news, there's no catalyst, it just pushed up, that should kind of be a red flag on maybe there's something going on that's not normal. It doesn't mean that you can't make money off of it, right? That's not what I'm saying. I just mean that it might be a little bit too aggressive for those that are just getting started. So as long as you guys know that, let's go ahead and kind of start with there. The MACD looks good on this. The RSI is decent. It's not the best, right? We're still trading below the EMA line. So again, I'm not going to trade this, but I'll set my alerts just for the sake of it because I know a lot of people are watching it. And if this thing begins to make higher highs, then again, with the very simple understanding. So if you're really struggling to grow your account because you're trading very aggressive patterns or you're trading a lot of stocks that are offering very aggressive descending patterns, then maybe something that you can do is wait for confirmation of higher highs. So if you want your account to grow, then what do? We invest in patterns that are showing signs of growth. Is BYND as of right now showing signs of growth? No, we don't have that confirmation just yet. Does it mean that it can't? No, it just means that it hasn't confirmed that uptrend. And once it does, then again, just make sure that it meets all your criteria, not mine, right? I'm not going to trade this, and I've said that before. But as long as it meets your criteria and you understand the risk involved, then I think as long as you focus on both the offense and the defense, you manage your risk, and that the opportunity cost outweighs the potential for loss, then I think you should at least be good with that. So I really do appreciate that call out, and I wish you the best. But again, hope and me wishing you something doesn't really mean anything. It really comes down to your discipline, your structure, and making sure that you hold yourself accountable for that confirmation. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The next one's going to be ELFB. I feel like we've broken this one down before as well. Okay. We definitely have. So I have my alerts already set right here. So you can see my alerts were set at 19 and my alerts were set at 20. So if you were to analyze this for all those that are tuning in right now, and Philip, I'm talking about you too. What's going on, my dude? What do you see with BELFB? So this is our Sunday Stock Talk, and we're talking about the top stocks for this week. What do you see with BELFB? Is this something that's showing signs of an uptrend right now? Not really, right? So is this something that's showing signs of a potential support? Well, yeah, based off of previous lows, right? And we drew our previous support line. It's around the price range of where it's, like bounced at before. But what have we always said? Patterns tend to repeat themselves. They do not have to. Confirmation is key. And if you're so certain that it's going to bounce here, why not just wait for it? One of the things that we've also talked about so many times, and I'm going to annoy you with this until it sticks, it's the simple things in life that people overcomplicate, right? So what can you do to make sure that you take part of BELFB when the action is happening? That you just simply wait for confirmation. Right now it's selling off. It's not showing any signs of an uptrend. And we want to catch this when this thing is actively increasing in price because we want to actively increase our trading accounts. So all we need to do is set our alerts. stay up to date and alerted about or when this thing is beginning to show signs of an uptrend and we have that higher high confirmation. So I'm going to keep it that simple. Just because it's bounced here before doesn't mean that it's going to bounce here again. And if you've traded for a couple of months and you've tried to predict support or you tried to predict resistance levels, you're going to know firsthand that patterns tend to repeat themselves, but they don't always actually do. So why not just wait for confirmation? So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. I'm not too sure, Jason, why it did this, but I'll go ahead and break down this one for you. So this is going to be a ticker symbol JNUG, which is a bull gold ETF. One of the things that I noticed is I pay a lot of attention to overall futures and looking at forward/GC and how it's trading during pre-market hours. It's not really showing signs of an uptrend. It's not really showing signs of a downtrend. So what I can ask you to do, right? If you have the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform, set your alerts. Set your alerts to identify the direction. Is this thing going to be showing signs of an uptrend, or is this thing going to be showing signs of a downtrend when the market opens? Because that's what's important. So I would set my alerts here. And again, this should have somewhat of an influence when it comes down to the overall direction of JNUG. One of the things that I do want to point out is based off previous patterns, again, keeping it super simple. Is JNUG a really good deal right now? And I'm asking you. So if you're watching this live, please do me the biggest favor and just participate. Don't focus. I don't care about the lines. Don't focus about, I know that this can look complicated, but overall, based off of where this was about a month ago and where it's at right now, is this a good deal? We're deal hunters, right? If I were to want to sell you my house for $100,000, but it cost me nearly $1 million, you would do everything in your power and you'd call anyone you can to gather those $100,000. So you're tuning in right now and I'm asking you, is JNUG a good deal? We're deal hunters, right? Just because you have money doesn't mean that you have to just throw it at anything. Is JNUG a good deal? No. Right? Very simple. No, it's not a good deal. Based off previous patterns, it's overextended. It doesn't normally hold and trade up here for a very long period of time. It will sell off, correct itself, and then come back and trade around the $30 to $35 price point. Does it mean, and I'm asking you this is going to be a little bit more for our, intermediate traders. Does it mean that just because it's not a good deal, that it can't increase in price? Is that what it means? So yes, it's overbought. I agree. It's not a good deal. Does it mean that it can't continue to uptrend? It could still push up. Billy the Kid, the man, the myth, the legend. What's going on, man? It 100% could. But it's not about coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? And again, I'm trying to at least have fun with this. So I hope that you guys understand that. It's not about what can happen, but it's about what most likely will happen based off of previous patterns. You can't control the future. All you can control is what you do now and what you plan to trade this week. So just do your part as a trader to identify something that's a good deal, that the uptrend or the margin of profit outweighs the margin of loss, and that you're doing your part as a trader to manage your risk. And I think that, yes, I think JNUG can continue to push up. But do I think that it's a good deal? And do I think that it's more likely to push up than it is to push down? No. I don't see the overall upside potential, which literally just means the potential for it to continue to push up. I don't think that's better than or worth the risk of this thing potentially selling off. So I'm going to keep it that simple. I don't think it's a good deal. I don't think the margin of profit, the possibility for this thing to continue to go up, outweighs the potential for this thing to sell off. I think the potential for a sell-off based off previous patterns is more likely in comparison for this thing to continue to push up. And I'm really emphasizing this on this ticker. And again, I have nothing against JNUG, but it's just so you guys can understand how simple you can make trading to be. Right now, this thing looks overextended. So as long as you do your part as a trader to put your money into companies or into ETFs that are good deals, right? I usually don't like swing trading any of these anyways, right? I usually day trade them, but just make sure that you're getting a good deal and that it's actively trending up and that it makes sense for you to stay in it, right? All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So here we go. So this one's going to be AES. Here we go. Alrighty, so AES. So this one's kind of all over the place for me. One of the things that I really like to focus on, and again, this is just my preference, is direction. I really like to understand when something is trending up or when something is trending down. What's going on, Pablo? Right? So let me give you an example. If I were to, so you all saw right now, AES, right? You guys all see this pattern. So just note this, right? You guys see it? You guys see this pattern. Does it make sense to you, and is it super clear? If someone were to give you $100,000 right now, so let's say for whatever reason, I just felt super willing to give you $100,000. Think about it. Or you worked really hard for those $100,000. I think that's better. You worked really hard. You worked for a number of years. You saved $100,000. Would you invest it in AES? Or, again, is the pattern clear enough? Is the direction clear enough? Or, this is just an example in comparing the two, based off of previous patterns on SHOP, Shopify, right? Based off of previous patterns and the direction and the pattern, if I were to give you $100,000, which one, right, would make the most sense based off previous patterns and what you see to be a potentially better investment long term, right? Or based off of previous patterns and its current direction. Does it mean 100% that Shop is the best decision for everyone or the best stock to trade? No. But in my opinion, and I'm speaking just off of that, the direction and the pattern and the way that this thing is trading is much easier to see because it's been so consistent. Oh no. Right? So with that consistency aspect and with that clear direction, we can both agree that it's that much easier to trade off of that. So keep note of that. With a consistent pattern and direction, it's much easier to identify maybe where you should put your money. So that's the example that I wanted to give you. I'm not saying that AES is a bad company. AES might release that it's being, it's going private, right? Like Elon. And this thing shoots up to $20. Great. But it's a little bit more inconsistent based off of how it's trading right now. So because of that, I just don't like it. I don't find the pattern to be consistent enough for me to want to trade it. Yeah, it is pushing up. It's potentially getting rejected by the SMA line just like it has before. So look at the MACD, look at the RSI. It doesn't look like a good deal. Yes, it might consolidate over time and then continue to push up. Anything can happen. It's just very inconsistent and I just don't like it. And that's my opinion. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't trade it. It just means that based off my preference and my criteria, I just don't like it, right? Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. I like how active you guys are all posting this in the ticker call out format. I really do appreciate each and every single one of you. It makes it a lot easier for me to see that you've done your own due diligence, which, I appreciate all that hard work. So let's go ahead and move on to BP, right? Okay, so I definitely see a pattern here. Do you guys see a pattern of overall low points and high points? Maybe where you can buy it for a better deal and sell it for a profit. Do you guys all see that within the past maybe 2 to 3 months? Do you all see that? Can some of you see it based off of, and it doesn't mean if you guys can't see the pattern, trust me, over time, this will begin to make more sense. And if you're someone that, now sees this, just, reassure people, right? The people that are watching that are complete beginners, this might look like a different language, but trust me, over time, as you dive in and you become more well-versed with this, it will begin to make more sense. I can promise you that. Look at overall low points, looking at overall high points. One of the things that this SMA line does, it's the simple moving average. Feel free to YouTube it, feel free to Google it. I think it's an amazing indicator when it comes down to having a better understanding about direction. So it normally acts as a support or it normally acts as a resistance. And you guys can see when BP was showing signs of an uptrend, it acted as a support. When the overall pattern was trading above the SMA line, that's the green line, right? It broke below the SMA line and then like an old support level, it now acted as a new resistance level. So what acted as a support can now become a resistance and vice versa, right? So overall low points, it began to act as a resistance, right? Make lower lows and lower highs. And then what's beginning to happen? It's catching up with the SMA line. It's now almost trying to validate this SMA line as a potential support again. We're not making higher highs, and that's something that I do want to point out. But based off of recent patterns, it makes sense. So let me zoom in a little bit. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI, look at previous low points. We have no confirmation. It's still not above, right? It's still not above the overall EMA line. So it's still not above the EMA line, and we're not making higher highs just yet, but we're at a point, at a potential support. Again, patterns only repeat them, don't have to repeat themselves, but they can, right? So we're gonna set our alerts for the break above the EMA line and just follow up with this. Let's see if this thing does begin to make higher highs. The margin from around 51.50 to overall highs around 50, almost 53 is around 2.87%. Not huge, but still a decent margin for a quality company and maybe a quality pattern for those that see value in it. So I'm really happy that you brought this one up. I like the MACD, I like the RSI, I like the consistency based off of previous patterns, but now we just need to wait for confirmation, which is for a lot of people the most difficult part. They identify a pattern, they plan out their entire trade, but they just don't stick to their plan. And that's very unfortunate, but again, being disciplined goes a long way. Here we go, Prolate, got ticker symbol AAXN. Oh, AAXN, right? Okay. Here we go. So what do you guys think about this? Axon Enterprise. What do you think about this? So let's talk about this. What do we know about the SMA line? What do we know based off of previous patterns? What do we know about the current direction? Right? So it's oversold at a big sell-off. I'm not a huge trader on fundamentals based off of fundamentals, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to look into the company or what was released based off of news that drove the price down. This thing lost about 15% of its value. But what's one thing that we're noticing right now? This is one of the things that I want to point out. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI, look at previous patterns. Okay, so I like the overall direction. I like the overall direction of this, right? I like that it created a potential dip buy opportunity. So I like something that's pushing up, and I like that this thing sold off and that now it's consolidating. It's no longer selling off as of now. It's not really making lower lows. It's almost, we've talked about this, 3 stages of a reversal. If you're part of Learn Plan Profit, which is our private group, right? This should make sense. The EMA line is 100%, like Tom said, still pointing down. But what can we do? We can wait for higher highs. One of the things that I do want to point out is, first, let me just set my alerts just so I don't get ahead of myself. I'm going to set my alert here, and I'm going to set my alert here. I'm going to calculate the margin of profit, and I'm going to calculate previous resistance levels. So I'm going to keep it kind of conservative. So I'm not going to go to all-time highs, but I'm going to go based off of the previous time it was, rejected around 70 to 72.50. So let's say we do break back above the SMA line and EMA line. EMA line is the exponential moving average, or the moving average exponential, which is this light blue line, and the simple moving average is the green line. So once we break above this, around 66.40 to about, let's just go halfway, almost $71. That's about 7% growth. After you wait for confirmation and after you sell at a price point that's not at the highest, but it's still at an overbought, price range. That's if it goes exactly as planned. 7%, not bad. Right? Do you like the direction? Do you like the flow? You're still going to have to look into what caused this sell-off and if it's detrimental to the company, and you still have to wait for confirmation. And after all that, after you patiently wait, this is super important. After you patiently wait for this thing to confirm the support, and after you wait for higher highs, and after you wait to add to your position, and after you wait to add more to your position, and then after you wait right as you're about to sell, what can happen? You still have to manage your risk. Just because everything meets your criteria, like we know, it doesn't always go according to plan. So there's always going to have to be this plan B. So as you're getting in and as you wait for that confirmation and as you get into that position, you're always going to have to keep that in mind, that there's always a possibility for some more news to be released, right? That might drive the price down. So as long as you're aware of that, regardless of how perfect your plan is, regardless of how much patience you have, it's inevitable, right? You're going to have to manage your risk and make sure that you do your part as a trader, that you control how much money you give back, right? So I like this. I'm going to wait for the confirmation, but just as much as it could go up, it can go down. And I kind of have a feeling that because it broke below the SMA line, which it normally doesn't, I mean, it has before, but it normally doesn't, right? It normally acts as a support, that the SMA line, just like we saw with AES, right, might begin to act as a resistance as what used to act as a support. So I just want to make sure, just like we saw also with BP, when it breaks below this, it sometimes, takes some more time for it to continue to sell off before it can continue to reverse back up. So let's just always keep that in the back of our head. All right, Dan the man is here, and he wants me to break down AMD. So AMD is Advanced Micro Devices. They had a huge push up due to some news that they were going to begin to work with Samsung, which is huge. They create the little devices that are inside your iPhones, and now possibly, or I think they did, have a partnership where now they're working with Samsung as well. Absolutely amazing. Look at previous patterns. It's been showing signs of nonstop growth. I like that. If you want to grow your account, what do? If you want to grow your account, what patterns do we invest in? Dan the man, if we want to grow our accounts, what patterns do we invest in? If we want to grow our accounts, what patterns do we invest in? Up. Makes sense, right? It's not always about buying the dip. We want to make sure that we do our part to get a good deal, but it's not just about buying the dip and hoping that it pushes up randomly, but that we focus on direction. You guys all have it, right? Descending by short. Okay, we don't have to get technical, right? But as of right now, based off previous patterns, one thing that I do want to point out, and someone asked me this right before we started this live stream, is the MACD. The MACD, it sold off a little bit. It caught a support right around the EMA line, right, the blue line, and then now it's beginning to try to make higher highs. I do want to point out that last time it did get rejected right around $32, so maybe that's something that you want to wait out for. And is AMD the best deal that you can get right now based off previous patterns? No, but it's been something that's been making higher highs and higher lows. So it's something that, looks very attractive. So as long as you take that into consideration, if you want to day trade it, just make sure that the opportunity cost is there. Make sure that, in my opinion, and the indicators that I use, that it's trading in between the middle and top VWAP. And I think that this is going to be a perfect example. So we want this thing to continue to push up. We want it to hit highs of 34, right? We want this thing to continue to make higher highs. So the margin is definitely there. But like you guys know, I like to day trade. So one thing that I would make sure that we focus on is, meet Kevin, my guy. In between the middle and top VWAP, we want to make sure that it continues to show signs of growth. And keeping it that simple. Keeping it that simple, that it's not always about buying the dip or trying to get the lowest price possible, but that we're kind of trading with the flow, right? We're going with the flow, that we're making sure that, yes, we're getting a good deal, but that the overall direction is in our favor. Let's keep it super simple. If the direction begins to change, then what do? We manage our risk and we cut losses, because again, the only way that you can consistently grow your account is if you can continuously manage your risk and keep your losses smaller than your profits. It really just takes one big loss. And I want everyone that has traded for a long enough period of time to share your honest opinion. So right now, if you've traded for a long enough period of time to experience this, do you not agree? For all those that are just getting started, do you not agree that it only takes one bad trade to wipe out all your profits and all your hard work and takes you from a green account to a red account? It takes one bad trade where you become emotional, where you don't manage your risk, where you sell yourself on the idea that it's going to recover, that you bag hold. It's one of the most common mistakes, if not the most common mistake that everyone makes. And trust me, I've been there. 100%. It's not even like I've been there. I do it sometimes pretty often. I don't hold it overnight, but I hold it for maybe longer than I should have. Make sure that you do your part in managing your risk. It's the only way that you can grow your account, at least in my experience and everyone else that is saying yes. So if you guys take anything from this Sunday Stock Talk, at least take that. How important it is to manage your risk. And not just in the stock market, but you guys saw me, Kevin, here, right? He's a real estate agent. In real estate as well. Yeah, real estate is definitely a little bit more sustainable, a lot more sustainable. Let's be realistic, right? But if it goes from, a seller's market to a buyer's market, and then it begins to sell off, and let's say you don't have the luxury of holding something for a long period of enough time for it to recover, then you're going to want to manage your risk, right? When it comes down to investing in a business and it's beginning to, go bankrupt, you're going to want to manage your risk. Control how much money you give back. So honest question. What is the difference between bag holding and long-term investing? I like that. I generally really like that question. I've actually never been asked that. Let me give you an example of bag holding. When it comes down to long-term investing, which is not something that I do in the stock market, right? Not for me, but a lot of people do it. And again, I'm just going to speak based off of my experience. When it comes down to long-term investing is how many people, we talked about them nonstop. When Tesla was at 176 and they see a lot of value in Tesla. There's a lot of people that do. I'm one of them. Does it mean that I invest in them? No. Me, Kevin, appreciate you, my guy. But like Tesla, right? A lot of people saw a lot of value because of Tesla, its values and what it's doing and their belief in Elon, that they're willing to invest in Tesla long term. That they put up a certain amount of money aside to invest in Tesla due to the fundamentals, due to the technicals, and due to the overall belief and overall longevity of that company, of it to actually be successful. Like Amazon, all the early investors, they saw a lot of long-term growth. What's the difference from bag holding? My favorite, HMNY. How many of you guys have ever heard of this penny stock? And we're going to have a lot of people that are going to be cracking up right now. What's the difference from bag holding? When you sell yourself, that this thing's bound to recover. I can almost promise you that there's a decent amount of people that as HMNY and a series of other pump and dumps get pushed up, they become very popular in the platforms such as StockTwits. A lot of scanners will pick it up and people will be told to buy it because it's going to the moon. And guess what happens? It pushes up for a very short period of time, it consolidates, and then what does it do? It continues to sell off. Look at the overall direction of HMNY. Look at the fundamentals. Look at the technicals. Nothing is telling you or showing signs of growth when it comes down to HMNY. But when people believe in something like Amazon, right? Or something like Shop, or heck, even something like Tesla, it's because they believe in that company and its values. And that's, I would say, the distinct difference, that there's actual value and reason behind that long-term trade. Not just, and how many of you guys have ever done this, not just going in for a day trade because the stock is being pumped and you know it, and you have the FOMO, which is fear of missing out, and that day trade doesn't go according to plan, it sells off, you're down 20%, and you refuse to cut losses. And then what happens? It just continues to sell off, and it gives you that empty feeling in your stomach. How many of you guys have ever been there? It's one of the worst feelings. It will discourage you to ever want to trade in the stock market again. And I would say that's the distinct difference. Alrighty, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Next one is going to be from Zed. It's going to be QCOM. Here we go. Okay, I'm not too sure what drove the price up on this. It became super overbought, super overextended, sold off, and began to be pushed up again. So let's see what the volume is on this. I don't know anything about this. Okay, so on the 20-day 1 hour chart, it looks decent. This one's kind of all over the place, and I don't know what drove the price up and then what dramatically changed that drove the price down again. That's a huge drop, 25%, and then now it's beginning to recover. Now it's above the SMA line, which it used to trade below it, but now it looks like it's struggling to make higher highs. Again, direction and consistent patterns are huge for me. This would not be my criteria, and the volatility would be too big. Or it would be too much for me to feel comfortable trading. And that's just based, again, I'm speaking based off of my opinion. I'm trading with $100,000, and I don't want to take this form of risk when the pattern and the consistency aspect is not there. It just doesn't meet my criteria. Just because it doesn't meet mine doesn't mean that it can't meet yours. But again, the only way that you can set up criteria is if you understand what it is that you're doing and what every stock or investment has to meet, right? So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Alex is calling out ticker symbol QD. Here we go. Ticker symbol QD. Wow. Okay. What do you guys think about this? What do you think about QD? Do you like the direction? Do you like the pattern? Do you like the margin of profit? I like it. The SMA line, right? Based off of the past 180 days, there's a consistent pattern here. It pushes up, becomes overextended. Look at the RSI, look at the MACD, it sells off, right? It begins to consolidate, it begins to push up, MACD, right? RSI, it sells off, bounces off the SMA line, becomes overextended, pulls back, pushes up, pulls back, pushes up, pulls back. Now, as of right now, it's trying to push up. The MACD and the RSI look a little different now, right? So we don't know if it's going to pull back again. In the SMA line, which used to point, the clear direction of up, now it's kind of consolidating or kind of flatlining. So something to just keep an eye out for, right? But yeah, I would wait for higher highs. It looks like it had a really good day on Friday. It pushed up 4%, and we'll have to see how this thing continues to trade. This thing might pull back. It might be one of those short pushes and pullbacks before it continues to really have these big pushes. So I really like the pattern though, regardless if you guys trade it or not, or regardless if I trade it or not. In reality, I just really like seeing our traders identify stocks that offer a very consistent pattern with a attractive amount of percentage return. I think that's great because you're building your eye for value. It's all about practice. And one of our members said it best, where practice doesn't make perfect, but it's the pursuit to becoming as perfect as you can, which is the goal, right? Alrighty. Thank you for the breakdown on QD. Well, thank you again for shouting it out. I don't think it was you, James, that shouted out, but I saw that your message that you really liked it. So it looks good, right? So this one has to be definitely one of the ones that I've liked the most. It doesn't mean that I'm going to buy it. As of right now, it looks like it could potentially pull back. So we're going to set our alerts on both sides. But I like the overall long-term kind of growth that it's been showing. Ricky, please name your twins Digaz and Ugaz. That'd be funny. All right, here we go. So again, I'm only going to be breaking down stocks that are posted in the ticker call-out format. Here we go. UTX. What's going on, Mac? All right, we're just going to do 2 more, and then we're done. Just 2 more. So you guys have been holding up with me. So I want you guys to help me break this one down. Right? Let's identify a direction. Let's not overcomplicate it. Let's identify a direction. McFree World. What's going on, my dude? So it was showing signs of an uptrend, right? It was above the SMA line. It was showing signs of an uptrend. And then guess what happened? It broke below the SMA line. And then now the SMA line is acting as a potential resistance. The direction could be changing. Look at the RSI. It's showing signs of it being overextended, right? Look at the MACD. It's showing signs of a potential descending pattern, right? It might begin to sell off and it's right around the SMA line, and look at the RSI and look at previous patterns. So the overall recent patterns, the overall SMA line, the MACD, right? And then the RSI. There's a lot of indicators and patterns that are identifying that, hey, might be signaling that this thing might be getting ready for a sell-off. So just because it's been uptrending does not mean that it has to continue to uptrend. And based off previous patterns and how it's moving right now and how it's potentially pulling back, it had a red day on Friday, but it looked like it had a red day the day before as well, or kind of just consolidated. If it's not making higher highs, then too bad, right? Be patient. But we're setting our alerts on both sides so we can stay up to date. Let's go ahead and do 1 more. So we got the Lake Commander in the house, OXY. Here we go. I don't like this one. I'm sorry. Strong, consistent, descending pattern. Yes, I do see that it's kind of been flatlining. I'll just do a quick little alert here. I just don't like the SMA line. I don't like that this is a consistent descending pattern. I just don't find this very attractive. Let's move on to the next one. Ronnie is JAG. Let's see what we got going on here. Yes, we're doing really good with the breakdowns. Okay, again, another descending pattern. It doesn't mean that you can't make money off of this. It just means the overall direction is not in your favor, and it's going to make it that much more difficult for you to be able to sell it for a profit. Look at the RSI, look at the MACD, and look at the overall direction. There's just a lot of things that are playing against you. Again, it doesn't mean that you can't make money. It just means that right now it's selling off. So let's go ahead and move on to another one. I wanna end it, to say the least, on a green note. Here we go. Okay, nope, not a clear direction here. So it was showing signs of an uptrend. It began to sell off, broke below that SMA line, and now the overall it's selling off. It's getting rejected with this EMA line, and it's making lower lows and lower highs. No clear direction there. Here we go, Nicholas. You need to save us on this one. Oh, you didn't post the ticker symbol. PFE. What's going on, Nolan? PFE. All right, so yeah, it is showing signs of an uptrend, but it just doesn't look like the best deal. It almost looks like it's pulling back right now, looking at the RSI, looking at the MACD. I think it might give, okay, so this one's not bad though. The direction is definitely there, right? So we can see that this is an ascending uptrend pattern, right? The direction is definitely there. It's just selling off right now. And I think that this thing can sell off and maybe continue its overall uptrend, but I'm not too sure if I'm going to find the margin of profit just attractive enough for it to go up. Gavin, if I see you continue to post this and just spam the chat, I'm just going to remove you from the chat. And again, if you're not doing your own due diligence to break down your own stock, then why are you going to ask me to break it down for you? Here we go. Here we go, CVRS. What's going on, Eric? CVRS. Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for your time. Okay, this one's not bad. Volume is kind of low. The reason that I'm saying that, okay, so this is what I really wanted to, really wanted to emphasize in that video that I made with my friend Megan, right? And please, if you guys say anything disrespectful about that video, I will remove you from the chat. But the whole reason that I made this video is to emphasize the importance of being able to perform a technical analysis and identify an attractive pattern for there to be some form of consistency aspect. I think that we can all agree that there's this consistent pattern. I like the direction. And it's easy to identify the low points and high points, low points and high points, low points and high points. So it's not that CVRS is a bad stock to trade. It's just overbought. It's overextended. Right? Look at the RSI. Look at the MACD. It's just showing signs of it being on the overbought side. So what can we do? We just have to set our alerts and wait for this, wait for the opportunity to come back to us, right? For it to be a good deal, for it to be more on the oversold side, for us to get that confirmation and then build that margin of profit for that recovery. It just means that we have to be patient, doing something that a majority of the market doesn't do, right? It's very simple. And again, I'm going to repeat it. Warren Buffett said it best. And the stock market, and you guys can formulate your own opinion or your own concepts, but the stock market is a market where it's the transfer of funds from the impatient to the patient. Patience goes a long way in, I think, a lot of the things that you do. Not just investing, but friendships, relationships, right? And investing. Making sure that you're composed and that you understand what is it you're doing to wait for that opportunity to present itself. Does LPP define these terms like MACD and RSI? Yeah, LPP covers all that. But yeah, so I'm going to end it there. I'm not saying that by any means CVRS is super overbought, super overextended. We just need to wait for this to come back to a price point where it's a good deal, and then we wait for confirmation. Do you guys all agree? And even then, it doesn't mean that it has to bounce. It could completely break its pattern and it could sell off. But that's why it's so important to wait for that last thing, confirmation, and then manage that risk. Mark Allen, I like that. What's going on, my dude? How you doing? But yeah, I want to end it with that. So as you guys can tell, I'm really pumped for this week of trading. I don't know if you guys saw my video that I uploaded on Friday, but you know, I didn't end it on a green note. So I'm really excited to kickstart this week on a positive note and be extremely selective with what I choose to trade this Monday. What's going on, Kevin? Dude, you cracked me up. But yeah, I'm really excited. Again, our live trading session is tomorrow. And if you want to tune in to that live trading session, that's going to be that second link in the description. That's our Learn Plan Profit group. And what's included within Learn Plan Profit? Click the second link in the description and dedicate 5 minutes out of your Sunday and see if it's a good fit for you. If you like my videos on YouTube and you like the way that I do things and you like the way that I break things down and you like the way that I see value, then I think that it could be something of value for you. But everything is provided for you. We explain what's included in the course, right? We explain what's included in the Learn Plan Profit private group chat, and we explain and give you a taste of what it's like to watch me trade live. So I trade live every single day, Monday through Friday. I'm one of the only people that offer this on a consistent basis, and I do this every single day only with the Learn Plan Profit group. I have TechBot Solutions, and that's the free group, but that's something where you kind of almost have to figure it out more yourself. You're just surrounded with like-minded individuals. The course is a lifetime access. It's a one-time fee, and you get access to all the updates and everything else that we continue to do. One of the things that we're working on in Arizona, right, and hopefully we can expand, is physical locations. We're going to be working on opening a TechBuds HQ, so if you're part of Learn Plan Profit, you're going to have free access to our facility in Arizona, where you'll be able to come in, visit our location, meet our entire team, and dock up your computers in any of our monitors and be able to trade with other people. It's going to make what it is that we offer within Learn Plan Profit, but in a physical location. So I'm really excited for what this year has to offer, and I really hope that you guys can utilize this extra time this summer to maybe learn a new skill. Think about it. You guys have get lifetime access to it. And think about it when it comes down to being a student, the tuition that you pay, and how much that breaks down per day, per semester. We're talking about $300. So even if you commit, let's say 1 year to learn how to trade, what does the $300 break down to? Less than $1 per day? I'm here to work with you. Again, there's no bots, nothing like that. It's not a webinar. It's nothing like that. You get to watch me trade live every day. If you have questions as you're going through the course, you're learning about a new market, what do? You're part of Learn Plan Profit, you direct message me within the Learn Plan Profit Discord chat. If you have any questions about anything, you ask me questions. It's as simple as that. So LPP staycation time. I like that. What do you guys think about doing another TechBuds staycation? I don't know if you guys are down for that. I don't think we have enough likes on this video. I don't see enough likes. It's 82 cents a day. My guy James doing the math. I like that. 82 cents a day to maybe learn a new skill that can go a long way. I just want to let you know, how did I buy my first house in Arizona at age 20? Because I understood the concept of investing that I learned from the stock market. How did I buy my Lamborghini Huracan, one of the cheapest ones out there in the United States? Because I understood the concept of investing. Learning a very simple concept can go a long way in so many different markets. Ask Kevin. Kevin also has a real estate course. I'm never going to create a real estate course because it's not one of my passions. But Kevin has a huge passion. He's an amazing dude, and feel free to go check him out if you guys haven't done so already. But at the end of the day, you guys don't have to join my course to be successful. Being completely realistic, the course, I learned by myself, right? It took years. So I put everything that I've learned in the number of years since I began trading in high school into a 7-hour package. It's straight to the point, and I just offer assistance along the entire way. If I would have started to learn this way, it probably would have taken me a much shorter period of time. So it's not that you can learn another way. It's that time is money. And if time is of the essence and you want to learn how to trade, it's not about learning it super quick. It's still going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of practice, but it can go a long way. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. So Rick is my inspiration. Kevin, stop. Dude, you cracked me up. I absolutely love you. But really do appreciate you guys' time. Again, if you guys want to learn a little bit more about the Learn Plan Profit Group, that's going to be that second link in the description. If you guys have specific questions that you want to ask me, click that second link and schedule a free call. You're going to talk to either myself or someone within the team. I think that we schedule 5 calls every day, and we can answer any questions that you might have if you have specific questions about the course. If you're ready to take action right now, I believe we do have a little incentive for you at the very bottom of this description. So if you don't see it right now, all you need to do is refresh your screen. In the description of this video, of this live stream, scroll all the way down, and there's going to be a $40 off coupon. It's a little surprise, right? So I really do appreciate you guys' time. I hope that it earned your thumbs up. I'm really looking forward to working with you guys on a closer basis. For all those that tuned in, I appreciate you guys' time. If there's anything that I can do, even to work with you on a closer basis, regardless if you choose to join my team or not, I would love to do so. Join our free group. Feel free to send me any direct messages of any questions that you might have, and let's just begin to take action. I think that's the biggest thing. This 2019, we have extra time this summer. Let's begin to take action in any market that we choose and want to pursue. Really appreciate you guys' time. I really hope that it earned your thumbs up. Continue working hard, continue following dreams. Let your passion be your job, your success. I don't know why I look like a ghost right now, but like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note.